Yeah, it's rich in bubbly goodness.
Do you remember when you lost your passion for this work?
I invited another friend. I hope that's okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And welcome to the official lunch table of the Fandom Menace, where friends just get together, hang out, talk about what's up, just relax and have fun. People have forgotten how to just relax, have fun, and not take stuff so freaking seriously. You know what I mean? So let's get started, shall we? Let me bring up my co-host, who again looks a little different, but in a very cool way. What's up, Fat Steven? How are you? A raptor and a turkey? Is the raptor going to get the turkey? Because that's a cool name.
Yeah, well, the turkey wanted to come in and say one thing about a tweet yesterday. I am not a dry-ass turkey. You just got to glaze me right.
Oh,
so
we got to brine. We got
to that B word. My ass is not dry. It is plump and delicious.
No. Especially when you brine you in salt and rosemary and orange peels and apple peels.
All right, I'm done with that spiel. That was bad. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, Fat Steven. How are you?
I'm there and I'm getting to there. You know what I mean? It's like limbo of I'm almost energetic, but then again, not yet. But I'm good.
Hey, Steve!
It's not Kathy Griffin. Don't insult the turkey. That's nasty. How are you today? Enjoying the hump day of FWTFs? Because that's pretty much what it is.
I'm not well, it's 32 degrees outside, which means I'm not happy. And I'm gonna stay in. Here. I'm gonna stay in with my fireplace, which I lit up last night. It was nice. But yeah, it's cold. It's cold. It's cold. I'm looking forward to being in Florida for Christmas. It's too freaking cold right now.
You say this, and you're talking to a Canadian who has 2-degree weather right now, so it doesn't.
I know.
I'm playing a tiny violin because I just don't see it.
The Canadians I'm used to seeing when I'm in Florida. Yes, because here's why. You got the ones from Ontario and the ones from Quebec. Now, the ones from Ontario know how to drive in Florida, and they're cool. And they hang out. And even when it's 40 degrees outside, they're swimming because they're cool like that. The ones from Quebec, for some reason, think the shoulder is an extra lane of the highway.
Well, they're French. What do you expect from
them? Okay, yeah.
I'm the Ontario type. I'm not the French type. Most of us say the same thing. Next time you see that, just yell tabernacle at them or shit.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's like as soon as you see a Quebec license plate in Florida, like, crap.
Yeah,
even the old people are like, I don't want to drive around the ones from Quebec.
Wait. The thing is, when you see a Quebec license plate, pretty much everyone puts their insurance company on speed dial and increases their rates just because they know they might need it.
Really?
Yeah, man, I hear we got Cameron back, though.
We do.
Are we going to invite him on, or are we going to make him suffer in the back for 5 more minutes? Because that's also quite fun.
That is quite fun.
Hashtag oppression.
You know what? We'll bring him up because I know the chat is waiting to see him. So I don't think they'd mind if we bring him up before we
Does Cameron mind?
I don't think he minds.
Tabernacle.
I don't think he minds. Yeah, he's good to go. Hey, Cameron, how you doing?
I was enjoying being in the backstage. I felt like a good old stagehand watching the actors on stage. Wonderful.
I thought he was actually unimpressed because he had that smile. It wasn't the full smile. And you're like, this guy just said oppressed with the hashtag. I'm coming for him and his ass turkey.
The great thing about 2020, the great equalizer, is we're all oppressed. They said we're all oppressed, and so we can all be brothers and sisters now.
Yes.
I'm goody.
Yes. How are you doing, sir? And
I'm well. Only for you would I wake up this early, Lorena, because as a habit, I work till 3 in the morning and sleep till noon. And so 9 a.m. This is 9 a.m. for me, and only for you would I wake up at 9 a.m. I'm still in REO. Go with it.
I so appreciate it. So appreciate
What did she bribe you with?
The joy of her company.
Okay, what did she actually bribe you with?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
I know.
It works. It's fine.
Cameron just loves the company of beautiful women, so
that everyone knows that I love the ladies. I don't apologize for it, and Lorena is the queen of the ladies, certainly in the Fandom Menace and beyond. So
what the hell am I then?
I don't give a crap about you. You're a dude.
Wow, your Facebook.
It is what it is.
I think my dreams have been crushed and utterly horrified. I don't know what to say anymore, Cameron. That kind of hurt my feelings.
Oh, don't be hurt. We all got a.
I don't have to take this from you at all. I could be a chick now. Hey, yeah, you only got $5. It's only $5. Just give me $5.
I don't. In 2020, we can all just flip our.
Why?
I know.
Give me your $5 right now. Do it. Okay, I'm taking myself out.
Yeah, you creep me out a little bit too. But it's okay. It's okay. Oh, it's like a dog. What's that little dog? Little dog in a rice bowl. Well, let me welcome the chat.
Well,
20 of you people watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We have with us today Hollywood screenwriter, producer, and insider Kamran Pasha on his second trip to our lunch table. He's like that friend at school where you hear something and they're like the domain expert. And you're just like, dude, I gotta connect with you at lunch so we can talk about X, Y, and Z. So that's what this is about, because an hour wasn't enough last time we hung out. So we had to bring him back. So let's welcome the chat. Casparius, how are you? In 30 minutes, everybody's doing the countdown. I love how you guys are here so early. It's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Michael Jolin is counting. Welcome, everybody. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Google says, welcome all. And welcome to the Google moderator who's probably hanging out in our chat. So if your chat goes poof and neither I nor Steven touched it, it's a Google moderator.
That's Cameron. We're going to blame Cameron for the whole episode. That's what we're going to blame Cameron. Because he hates me so much. Boo-hoo.
Hi, Karen. She says, Namaskaram, everyone. Hopefully I said that right. Great to see Kamran again. Well, great to see you, Karen Prime. We love you, girl. I know it's like actually a reasonable hour of the day over there where you are.
Where is Karen Prime from, besides the Prime universe of blue hair?
UK.
Oh, okay.
UK. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she told me about Tiffin, the word for tea. I think that was so cool.
Why does he keep ignoring me? What did I do to you, Stig? What did I do to you?
Hey, Stig. Hi there, Lorena and Cameron. Hope both of you are doing well today. I hope you're doing well too, Stig, and probably laughing about me complaining how cold I think 32 Fahrenheit is. I have too much Islander blood in me.
Wait, are you? You said you're in Pennsylvania. You're not in Florida right now. You're in Pennsylvania.
No. Yes.
Okay. My sister's in Pennsylvania. She's in State College. She teaches at Penn State now. So yeah.
Penn State. I know where that is.
Yeah.
Up in the middle of nowhere. It's an interesting place. Let me tell you. Have you been there, Cameron?
Yeah, I went to visit her earlier in the year when we were allowed to be human and travel around, right? And so, so it was quite lovely, and I hope I'll be able to see her again when they allow us to be human again. So, God willing, soon.
Did you go to the creamery?
I'm sorry. What was?
Did you go to the creamery, Penn State Creamery?
No. We went to a pizza place. That was decent pizza. It was decent. Whatever.
No, Penn State, they have their own agricultural college, and they have this thing called the Penn State Creamery, and it is ice cream that they make right there. And
so you got the cow in the back, and then away you go. All right, here we go.
Well, yeah, I guess they run the trucks out to milk the cows and bring them back. But it's the best stuff. So when you can all be human again and go visit, tell her to take you to the creamery.
Yeah, I'll talk about the creamery. I know she had just gotten the gig like a few weeks before, and so I don't know that she knew the town or the university very well. So I'm sure. And then this year has gone by, which I don't know that she's expanded her knowledge of the environment. But hopefully, I'll tell her about the creamery.
Yeah. Just look for the line of students and the fat squirrels hanging around.
Yeah, with the fat joke.
It was, but they do have fat ass campus squirrels because they don't have to find their own food.
Yep.
They don't have to find their own food.
My parents thought it'd be nice to celebrate Christmas one time in Pennsylvania and rented it. No, it was the most boringest time for me and my brothers. Yeah. It looks nice, but boring as hell.
Try living here. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Yeah, I felt sane when I moved from LA back here, but after a while, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's kind of boring. Boring.
Well, you and I were talking because you do have your roots in Florida, and so I'm looking to get out of LA because LA has become, it's literally escape from Alcatraz at this point, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking. I didn't mention I'm looking at two places. I'm looking at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is lovely, but right now really cold, and Daytona Beach, which is lovely and really warm. So we were talking a little bit about Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm leaning towards Daytona right now.
Daytona Beach is nice. I have family that live there. It's got a big, huge Harley Davidson dealership, which is like gorgeous. The beach is nice. Area's really nice. Lots of tourist traffic.
The hurricanes are very nice.
Well,
I understand the hurricanes generally miss that place because of the latitude, longitude.
Yeah, it's very, very rare. You'll get the storm surge from, like, say, the tropical storms and stuff like that. And, Florida is one big, huge lightning rod, so that's a different thing. But hurricanes, not so much. But you know what? Everyone just watches, looks, and then when it's time to get the heck out, then everyone gets the heck out. But before then, it's a party.
But that's the question I have. There better be good-looking people, but that's what I miss about LA. At least there's good-looking people. They all might be wearing masks, but they're good-looking people wearing masks right now. So I'm going to miss that.
It's a trade-off. You've got your pockets of good-looking people,
Okay, pockets. Okay, all right.
It's not like they're all from the Hunchback of Notre Dame movie, so I think you're okay.
Okay.
It's not like LA. Nothing's like LA. Even the closest might be Miami, but Miami's maybe 75% of what LA.
I'm gonna miss my good-looking people. All right, well, okay, but
what's your places to go? Your 3-hour drive?
Yeah, let's go down to Orlando, go up to St. Augustine.
Yeah. You'll be good.
Hashtag no uglies.
Michael Jones.
I believe beauty is truth, man. That's why I moved to LA. That's my philosophy. Beauty is truth.
I hear you.
I thought it was for the bikinis.
It goes along with it.
Okay, let me see if I have everyone. Let's see. Naughty Morky Arath. I see you. Mr. Tickle Trunk, I see you, and thank you so much for your $5 tip. He says the internet needs more Kamran Pasha, which I totally agree with.
Thank you. I will take it.
And Tristy tips me $2, says, "Woman, you need to play Among Us sometime." Well, you guys are always playing Among Us when I'm dead ass asleep.
No. You don't trust her. No, that woman likes to kill too much. She's like, I don't care. I want to kill someone. Where's Fat Steven? It's like a theme. Nah.
So I don't know, guys, if you guys can hear it. It looks like just outside my window, they decided it's time to cut down a local tree. And so I don't know if you hear the chainsaw. So
yeah, I couldn't tell if it was the leaf. Usually for me, it's the leaf blower guy. Will just.
I thought it was a coffee grinder.
All right. Well, now, unfortunately, we're gonna have the gentleman looks like he's in it for the long run, so we're gonna have this in the background. I'll mute it if it gets too bad.
All right. Hey, Theme Park Casual says hi. Hey, y'all. Sorry, I'm tardy. No, you get here when you get here. No problem. Steve did a top 5 Thanksgiving 2 video. Okay, I have to check that out. Yeti Cast, they do the same in Quebec. Yeah, driver's crazy.
Why does he hate me?
Gunnar Renee, I don't know. You have to ask him.
I did. He hasn't replied.
Fat Steven Seagal is a VTuber now. What's a VTuber?
That's right. Yeah, I did something no one else is doing in this type of community. So now you can see how fat I am in person.
Okay, VTuber. Oh, okay.
We can get really up and close later.
Whoa. Let's see. It's a Kex. And Terry Rose, hello, says the Valkyrie sent me. Oh, well, thank you. Please subscribe to the Valkyries if you have not. They have an awesome show. I can't stand on the song while I'm working, and then I try to catch replay. But definitely check out the Valkyries. NB Geeks, let's talk. Hello, this is Reina Creole. How can anyone not love that smile you do? It's the kind to light up a room. Well, unless I have a twisted smile that I give to my nieces and nephews when they do something they're not supposed to be doing, then they don't love that very much. They're like, we're in freaking trouble. Hello, Mr. Google moderator. Sorry if I assume gender. And off to cook, but I'm listening. Yes, there's always time for tipping. Yes, there is. There is Purple Valkyrie says, good afternoon, Alba. Good afternoon to you too, my dear. And let's see. Dean approved. How are you? Lorena, play Among Us. We're slowly working on a few cool people to play. I won't name names. Man, y'all just play too late. I'd have to like subconsciously, play. I'm one of those people who has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, I'm playing too early. Like it's at 9 a.m. I don't even know if I'm actually awake right now. I'm sort of going. This might be a dream sequence.
This is all a dream.
You know what? When I lived in LA, I was so envious of you guys who could like get up at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like up at 5 a.m. to get on the freeway by 5:30 so I could be in Culver City before traffic really got screwed up. And RC from the NYC just tipped $5. Thank you so much, my Dominican King. I appreciate that. Appreciate your support of the channel. It goes to plus up stuff, especially with the chair I'm sitting in. Thanks to you guys. Help pays the bills and helps me to support other channels. So thank you so much. 28 people watching. So let's get to these specifics. So how many of you guys know who this young lady is?
God.
Anita.
Oh, yeah, the scam artist. Yeah. Captain Victim.
Yeah, just okay, so when I saw this episode of The Mandalorian, because Kamran, have you seen this episode yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But I'm certainly familiar with the controversy that has erupted over this.
Okay. So when I saw this episode, I thought that this armor was freaking badass. That's the first thing that I thought when I saw that. I'm like, it's badass. It looks great. My girl Katie Sackhoff is in here. Yes, Katie Sackhoff. She's here.
Who I worked with on Bionic Woman. She was one of our stars.
She is awesome. I met her at a convention one year, and she just could not do enough for the fans. She was just the absolute sweetest. I got to sit down.
And she's an absolute professional, really confident. It's like I didn't meet her a lot because she was up in Canada where we were filming, but I was, we actually met during when she came for Comic-Con, and the crowd just loved her.
Yeah, I met her at a Stargate convention in British Columbia at the time when she was filming Battlestar Galactica. And she was just amazing. So I was so excited to see her in this. Hey, Cavateño, just arrived from Midnight's Edge with the Toms and Andre. Yes, Midnight's Edge, Tom, the boss, Andre, my big boss. so glad you guys are here. Yes, she's a cry bully. Hey, Orange, how you doing? Yeah, she's so that's all I saw was it's cool armor. It's made to fit her body. I thought it was awesome. But then this chick, Lady Mandalorians have boob armor. Oh, come on. Seriously.
Supposedly, you're not supposed to have armor to help not feel constricted. It's not allowed.
Well, I'll make two comments. One is, yes, I believe from what I understand of following Miss Sarkeesian from the distance, of people constantly tweeting about her, right? She does seem to find a great deal of benefit from attention from creating drama, and so I'm sure that is the primary motivation of this. That's one. But on a deeper issue, it reflects a real thing that's been happening in Hollywood for several years now, which is a defeminization process, where there has been a deep, deep effort to erase the feminine form itself, right? In the claims of feminism, being a woman itself is being taken away. We've been pushed towards androgyny, both in physical form, and in the last couple of years, you had androgyny even with regard to talking about women. I mean, that was pushed a lot in Britain, and it's here in the U.S. now, where you can't, because of some elements within the transgender movement that don't even want to acknowledge the female sex, and so now you're having ads come out and say things like people give birth to children. People have periods. It's like you can't even use the word women anymore. And I think that's not a helpful movement forward for the feminist movement. And I'm sure later, Lorena, you as a woman would have perspectives on that.
Yeah, I would. I actually have a whole lot. It's interesting to see this evolution of feminism, because when I was a kid, feminism was about empowering women and young girls to be able to make their own decisions and have society respect those decisions. I mean, even when I was in the Girl Scouts, it wasn't an emphasis on, trashing the Boy Scouts or whatever. They were trying to teach you to be independent, whether it was orienteering, whether it was trying to repair a car, whether it was caring for children, whether it was for learning a trade like sewing or anything like that. It was about empowerment and independence and caring for your community. And it was all about the opportunities that women didn't have before. And now you could have the same chance to be as qualified to do those particular jobs, scientists, astronauts, stuff, things like that. And that was the empowerment, even to the point of even fashion, because I tell people, as crazy as, I don't remember the disco era, but I saw pictures. And if you look at like the outfits from the 60s, they went from the 50s from the long skirts to the 60s with the short skirts and go-go boots and all of that. And that was just like empowerment of the female form, and that was celebrated. Then feminism got to this point where it's just like, you can't look feminine. You're inviting men to look at you. Why are you looking for validation, from men? And growing up where when you hit society, and all of a sudden you're telling me that you feminists have gone from girls can do anything and be anything and contribute to society, be anything, whether it's be a homemaker and have children and be at home, or go in the workplace, and you're respecting that. So now you're telling me that I have to do what you say do in order to be feminine.
But isn't it also like the thing with like looking with the female form? It's because the female form is supposed to attract the opposite sex. I'm just saying that's relative. I know there's a lot more.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh. He says, "Where's Al Bundy when you need him?" Yes, no, ma'am.
No peg. No peg. No peg.
I'm married with children. I'm married with children. You couldn't do it today.
I love that show. And the funny thing, I'm glad you brought up No Ma'am, because Cameron, I think you know the history. Do you know the history of No Ma'am with Married with Children?
Well, I mean, I watched Married with Children, and I don't recall what was the gag with the No Ma'am.
No peg.
No Ma'am was basically, it was a men's group, like a covert men's group that Al put together to fight against Marcy and the feminists. Yeah. And they were just, it was like a I won't say, it was like an overcorrection, but it was so over the top, but you just loved it. And supposedly the press at the time was saying, women hate this, they don't like it. And then I saw some kind of retrospective a couple years ago, and one of the showrunners were saying the people who love the No Ma'am sections the best seem to be women.
Well, because we have to be able to laugh at all of our pathologies about sex and about gender, and that's how you be human, is you laugh at how silly we can be.
Yeah, National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Manhood. Yes. Yes. The one where they had a breast in, like a nurse in, and then the No Ma'am guys came off and they took their shirts off.
In many ways, that show was ahead of its time. It's essentially mocking our world about 30 years in advance.
It was, and the feminism that Marcy did in that show was nothing like the craziness that that is now. And I think that's the funniest thing to see. It's like it was played up as a joke, but it was counterbalanced against the male characters in the show, where you either had like Jefferson, who would pretend to go along with what Marcy did. When he'd go along with the guys until Marcy showed up, and then he'd
yeah, he was basically
sides and everything.
Beta guy. He was this whip beta guy that wanted to be Al but didn't have the guts to do it, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it's like I so missed that. And even the one episode where I think it was but Emma Peel, God rest her soul, Diana Rigg, but the one where they were trying to get the Avengers set, and I think Marcy was giving him crap about wanting to ogle women, and he's just like, and at least they have breasts.
See, the one thing that bothered me with this tweet, and then let's say what it goes from till today, is that she is now playing ultimate victim like she usually does. And her latest tweet is literally she locked off the comments. She tagged Twitter and complained that she's getting harassed. I'm using air quotes because I'm just not impressed, and complaining about their Twitter's new fleets. Going, well, I'm getting harassed, and you're talking about your video option. No, you're not getting harassed. Criticism isn't harassment. You said something unintelligible and stupid, and people are calling you out for it. Even logical points from other women, especially in the military. So you're ignoring all that, sticking to your narrative, and then you're crying wolf. This is why people don't respect you. Because you're playing victim professionally. I'm sorry, it bothers me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I know, Cameron, we've had a lot of conversations on several live streams, but just how there's so much vitriol from Hollywood against femininity. So for those folks in the audience who really aren't familiar with those conversations, how have you seen that evolve in Hollywood from being, femininity is pretty much celebrated and used as very viable plot points to now it just seems like anything feminine, it's just there's so much pushback against?
Yeah, I mean, the phenomenon we're going through right now is only a few years old, because the norm is a celebration of the masculine and the feminine, even in Hollywood. I mean, you would go back to the old shows in the 80s where you would have the fall guy who's this stunt man who's got this hot chick on the side, right? And we'd have these strong kick-ass women that were very beautiful and dressed sexy, right? And so that was the norm growing up. That was the norm in the early parts of my career. A lot of this changed and I've said this before, a lot of this changed around 2017. And again, we don't have to get into politics, but Hollywood changed politically because of the Trump victory in 2017. And then suddenly, in order to counter what they felt was the rise of a dangerous right-wing nationalist narrative, they decided to adopt really, really extreme left-wing narratives that people don't actually follow in their lives here in Hollywood. I don't see people actually being androgynous for the most part in the power structure in Hollywood. There's very few masculine men here. It's mostly the men, certainly in the writer's side, tend to be Jefferson, right? But the women tend to embrace their femininity. They dress well, they dress nicely, they like looking attractive. But in the last few years, there's been this movement towards this aggressive leftist perspective on things, and it particularly issues. You had the Me Too movement arise, and again, fringe elements then started taking control of that narrative. So instead of talking about degrading and abusing women, which has gone on in Hollywood since the silent film era, right, and still goes on behind closed doors, they just don't talk about it, right? But then you had these fringe elements show up who decide, here's a chance for us to do this sort of cultural Marxist reimagining of all of human civilization and use the current political environment as a means to push it through. And people in Hollywood who are just trying to make TV shows or movies are just scared of going up against that woke crowd. And I do feel that it was dying off. I felt that it had lost steam at the beginning of this year, the sort of extreme woke agenda, which was de-emphasizing the glorious differences between men and women, right? And then the events of 2020 happened, the political events, the medical events, all of those things, the social unrest suddenly Hollywood is being forced to go back and promote these things in order to feel like it fits into the woke crowd that's controlling the narrative, but people are really burned out of it. Privately, I've had female writers tell me exactly what we're talking about, that they're tired of not being able to write women characters like as they understand them, right? Because it doesn't fit a narrative of how women should be. And but they can't say that publicly right now because even though everyone agrees with them, the corporation is afraid of the woke mob's tweet attack. So that's where we are. We're at a place now where everyone knows this isn't, at least the genie's out of the bottle. Amongst ourselves, we're all like, isn't this all a little crazy? We can now say that out loud, right?
Mhm.
But the problem is the companies are now afraid of the woke mob, and especially after they saw all the violence this summer.
Bothers me so much that these woke psychopaths, I'm going to use that terminology, I apologize, but they have corporations by the balls. But the thing is about the corporations is like, it's your IP, it's your product. If there's a small, minuscule amount of people who are raging and throwing hissy fits because all they've ever done through life is throw hissy fits, then it's not their problem. They have to look at the mass and not the minuscule. And they're not doing that.
And we have also learned, now the industry has learned that trying to cater to these people is financially unprofitable. Disney learned that in particular, right?
Yeah, because they don't even watch it.
Yeah, they don't buy anything. They don't watch the shows. They don't buy any of the products that come off the shows.
No.
And so it's not financially. But the problem is, it'll be interesting to see, because I still think the U.S. political situation is going to be unsettled for a few more weeks at the very least.
Oh yeah, at least.
Can I get it one quick second? Sorry, one quick thing. This is a side advertisement. Shut up, runner. Okay, back to normal. But I also have to. It's an inside joke with Among Us.
Yeah.
But I also have to say, like, these are the same types of people that are like, I love Star Wars. I love it when Spock was in that one episode. And then you look at them and going, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone. Because it disrupts you. These are like literally like, they're fake nerds that are offended.
Yes.
But they don't even know the property. It's like the kid always looking in on the dodgeball, but never actually going in because he never even attempted to get asked to play. It's the same type of mentality. It's spoiled crybaby.
It is. And going back to like the fake geekiness that's out there, because these are the same people who will tell you that, well, we'll use Anita Sarkeesian, that Star Wars is just a men's only club or boys only club, and that women aren't invited. It's like right there, that just shows me that you're not a real geek, because it was for everyone.
It was. And
it may not have been, that many girls who were into Star Trek. But I know when I was a kid, it's like when Return of the Jedi came out, my parents couldn't afford to take us to the movies to go see it that week. So literally, I scraped up extra lunch money, rode my bike to the bookstore, and bought the novelization and sat down, and read it. And there are plenty of girls. I mean, yeah, you go to a convention and it's just like 10 to 1
400 overweight women in Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn costumes, and your eyesight just goes, why did you do this to me? Oh, I'm sorry. I was having a flashback out loud.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, or have the audacity to walk by where they keep the gamers at, and they've been down there for a couple of days and don't smell so good. And, kind of like wafting up. But it's like you can tell the fake. I'm going to say, the fake geekiness, for the same reason that I've run into people at conventions who did not believe. One, they thought I was the freaking talent, and they didn't believe. That's like, no, you're not a Star Wars fan. I'm like, why? You're not a Stargate fan. But what gave you that impression, that I'm not? Yeah, that too. Yeah. That's the other one. The other one. Yeah. They're like, oh, no.
You can only dress up as a Uhura. That's the only one they know about.
Oh, yes. That was bull.
That's it. You can only dress up as you can only do that. Like the controversy when they made, they cast Avery Brooks as Benjamin Sisko as a captain, or when they cast oh my gosh, Tim Russ as Tuvok, and the whole thing about can Vulcans be black? Not to go into that, but it's
wait, Reina, you have to remember though, they live on only the planet Earth, right? So everyone outside of the planet Earth doesn't have a skin tone. So it's only on Earth that there's blacks, whites, Mexicans, purples, Oompa Loompas. They only exist on Earth, but we're exploring the galaxy, but there's only one shade for each planet.
Yeah.
And which Star Trek addressed brilliantly in the original 1960s show with the episode with
Yes.
half white, half
White
black.
and half black.
Yeah, it's a very show. And they wiped each other out because one was white on the right side, one was white on the left side.
But what about this? Let's even look at Orion girls too. Like, what happens if they ever had it? Like, I know Orion girls won't ever be in the Starfleet, even though lower screw ups did it. They're green. What? Who's gonna play the green girl?
Whoever could shoot. That was my favorite, one of my favorite characters from the original series, the
going
Orion slave
colorism crap.
Yeah, you don't remember any of these desexualized characters. You remember the Orion slave girl. And she was the slave girl in the episode, and you're like, I'm just gonna watch this character. I don't care about anything else right now.
Yeah, Cameron, I played Star Trek Online.
That screen.
I played Star Trek Online, right? So for Klingons, right? It was you had 3 races, and one of them was Orion girl. I said, screw the Klingon. I'm going to be an Orion. Hell yeah! I'm a dork.
I freaking love that. If a girl is into Star Wars, nerds flock to them. They don't try to keep them out. Yes, case in point, and this is a freaking true story. Okay, so when Revenge of the Sith came out, all right, first of all, the whole IT department, nobody was going to be there when the movie came out. We told people we're not going to be here. Don't schedule any meetings. We're all gone. Okay, so I'm like, I'm going to be running a little late. Friends of mine are like, no, don't worry about it. We got your ticket. I'm like, really? No, we got to cover. I get to the movie theater. Not only do I have a ticket so I don't have to pay, but I also have a saved spot all the way up at the top because it was stadium seating in the back. I had a seat saved for me.
That's chivalry right there. That is nerd chivalry right there.
Concessions and all that. And why? So the guys who were sitting around me could be like, you know what? Hey, I brought this chick. Don't you wish you could be me?
And look, when I went to Comic-Con for Bionic Woman, I actually honestly had never been to Comic-Con before or since, right? And but I went there that time, and it was literally 100,000 geeky dudes and like 7 incredibly hot girls who 100,000 geeky dudes were all surrounding. And I was like, yeah. And I would suggest at least 3 or 4 of those hot girls weren't necessarily fans, but knew that they would get the attention by dressing up as slave Leia, and they got it.
Dragon Con. That's what I'm gonna say. Dragon Con in Atlanta. Dragon Con. I was there. I think. For some reason, I decided to cosplay as Sailor Moon.
What?
I'm like, what do you mean people want to stop it? What?
Where are these pictures?
No, they are forever hidden. I'm not bringing them.
No. Cameron, back me up. She has to save us by moonlight. Where are these pictures?
If I find them, I'll post them.
Yes.
But when I was there, it's like people would stop me to take pictures, and they did this with a lot. Not only women who were dressed up, but just women who were there. It's like they couldn't do enough for you. And it kind of felt kind of bad. I'm like, well, you don't have to do that.
But you see that there's an interesting thing there. You've hit a very interesting thing, Lorena. And again, now we're talking about men and women. We're talking about feminism. So I'm just going to state things that might be controversial to some of the woke crowd, which I don't think is really in the chat, but you never know, right? Or someone's going to watch this video and use it against me in the future. But I'm going to say something. Throughout history, just the physical differences between men and women have understood, despite the illusions we create, even on our shows, where most women on the TV shows can overpower, 90 pound Charlie's Angels can overpower 180 pound, stuntman villain, right? Mm-hmm. Reality is most men are physically larger and stronger than women, at least were until maybe this generation. And women's power came from being able to know how to use their femininity in society, right? And as a result, they actually had tremendous power. A friend of mine who is Venezuelan, Latin cultures, they tend to still have very polarized sex cultures, and they're very happy with it. And she said, I don't understand American women. They want to be treated equal to men. I want to be treated better than men. Why would I want to be equal to men? Why would I degrade myself to go down to the level of the masculine? I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. Because again, it's like at one time, it was like you still wanted to be a woman, but it's just like, what? As a woman, if I decide I want to do X, Y, and Z with my life, I want that respected, by society. But now it's like they want masculinized women and feminized men. Again, the whole thing going into androgyny. And I don't understand that. I never understood why femininity is so threatening. Because like I said, with the plot points, okay, any Bond movie, who sets up the honey trap? It's not a man. Well, he may be pulling the strings in the back, but who do they send in? They send in a woman. There's a reason the Bond girl is iconic.
Yeah, Bond movies don't work unless the Bond girls are there. They don't work.
Nope. Because there's places that he can't do.
But now there's a deeper issue, and I'm going to give a sort of a social commentary, not only a political, a social commentary. The deeper issue of this woke anti-female, anti-sexuality agenda is actually about disempowering women. I believe a lot of the extreme leftists that we're talking about, they use all the language of empowerment, empowering women, empowering minorities, empowering the LGBT crowd, empowering everyone, right? But the systems that they then promote are meant to disempower those people, so that the people that are largely promoting these kinds of things are not members of those groups, and they want to take the power away from others and pull them down. And Malcolm X said this back in the 60s, right? It's the very people that are claiming to be liberal that are going to be the ones that are going to take your rights away, right? And but they'll do it with a nice smile. And so it is a real phenomenon they're watching here, where there's a lot of this is all based on envy and resentment. And so taking away a woman's beauty is a great way to take her power away, right? And make yourself feel superior while you do it.
I agree, because I've seen that happen even in the professional environment, and I can always tell who are the men from a previous generation, and well, I'm going to call it the soy generation, but we'll call it the generations further down. An older gentleman, he'll just compliment you. You look very nice today. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. The younger one's like, oh my God, I think that's her. No, it's not sexual harassment.
No, it's not. It was called being polite. Most people that remember when they woke up and were raised like that, it's called, if you see a woman, you hold the door for her. You pull out her chair. You compliment her dress. You compliment her hair. It's how a lot of us were raised. It wasn't like, hey, baby, nice dress. Give me your digits. It wasn't about that. It was about the common respect of the opposite sex. It was like chivalry, the way I said it earlier. You were always taught to respect women. It had nothing to do with how they look.
Exactly.
That's you being insecure.
There was a charm to that. The modern sort of degradation of male-female interaction, right? People talk about, pickup artists and all that stuff. And the degradation of that has come from the fact that the polarization of men and women has been taken away, and the charm of those relationships have been taken away. So we're now down to animalistic behavior. That's just, if you're going to take away what we've discovered elevates us humans, you're going to go right backwards.
Exactly. And one place that I will say has a lot of pushback on this demonizing femininity, the American South.
Really? Okay, now
the American South. Because this is where my parents were raised, in the South. There are masculine roles, there are feminine roles. Men are expected to be very masculine. Women are expected to be very feminine. If you don't believe it, go to a beauty pageant in the South.
What about crescent rolls?
Oh, we don't do crescent rolls. We do biscuits.
Oh, God.
But if you go to say a beauty pageant in the South, they take that crap seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very feminine. Femininity is celebrated, is expected. If you ever see the show, Designing Women is one of them. Yeah. But also you see the Golden Girls, Blanche the Southern Belle. That's what's expected. And even today, that's when I was in the South, because that's why I love going back to the visit. When I'm in the South, men say hello to you, open the door for you. They will call you, they will call you, dear. They'll call you, sweetie. They're like, hun, can I help you? I remember I was at Disney and I was at a restaurant, and I think the cast member who was the maitre d', he's like, open the elevator so we could go up. And he was like, oh, sweeties, go ahead on in. I'll send the elevator up. And this chick, younger girl, says, did you hear what he called me? I looked at her like, What? Because he called you sweetie and he was being polite. Well, I have a problem with it. I'm like,
Okay, he said
if
sweetie.
you have
Oh my god.
exactly because he said that.
But the thing is, it's like he called you sweetie. It was a term of endearment because you're probably younger. He's also from an older generation, but it's not like he was going Buffalo Bill, going, "Hello, sweetie, put the lotion on your skin before you get on the elevator."
It's just something else. But you could tell if there's people from the South, we expect that. We expect that. We expect
because you understand that the male-female dynamic is a dance. It's like
exactly.
It's a dance, and that's the glory of it. You know, I got a lot of issues. I worked in France. And I got a lot of issues with French culture as it is today, particularly as it is towards people of my religion. But I will give the French this. Even though they still got Viva la France. They understand. They understand that the human race exists because of this dance and this dynamic.
Exactly. And you know, we've seen that with like with other cultures like African cultures, especially God in the Caribbean. Please. I said if you don't want somebody trying to talk to you, get your number, do not ever go to Jamaica because you know those men are very persistent.
If it was reversed, let's say we were living in the DC universe and we were in, let's say, Princess Diana's area, like the land of the Amazons, they'd be going hey to us and calling us sweetie. And they'd be holding the door for us, or the hot door, whatever. It's the same thing. It's where you are, what the location is, and how the normal state of people interaction is.
They do.
Like I can't see anyone not respecting anyone, even if you're holding a door for another gentleman. It's just common sense. You're even if you don't know the person, they are still your neighbor to a degree.
Well, what we're going to see though is, so I'm going to give a social projection of where we are, right?
Oh no, I'm terrified.
We're seeing sort of this young woke generation that says all these idiotic things because they've been fed this stuff right by in the school environment and by their peers and by people like my industry, right? That's not how life works. That's not how human beings are programmed on the DNA level, and that's not how life can survive, right? And so what's going to happen is over the next 10 years. They're going to actually learn the hard way that all these ideas that they've been promoting, that they've been fighting and setting fire to things for, don't work.
Mostly peaceful.
Yeah, I mean, I get tweets all the time from sort of these young woke guys or little boys, right, who think they're men, right, and they take these radical, you know, again, the modern radical fourth wave feminist narrative, right. Which takes away even sexual identity, gender identity, right? They embrace that and they criticize me for critiquing it. And I'm like, you actually think your girlfriend finds you sexy? She doesn't.
Her girlfriend's boyfriend does.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is a lot of these guys, and I'm going to say as a guy, most guys do stuff in order to get female attention. And so these guys are thinking that if I parrot this nonsense, women are going to respect me. And you learn, as you know, women don't actually respect that. Even the ones that claim they do. It's a test to see, are you a man or are you a weakling? And these guys are taking the weakling thing, and then they will be abandoned and left and cheated on and hurt. And then there'll be these bitter misogynistic dudes in their 30s who are going to try to pick up, they're going to become pickup artist wannabes at that time after having these young woke morons in their teens and 20s.
It's just mind-blowing. But yeah, it's like if you want to go ahead and be, and I call it male feminist, she might talk to you, but she doesn't freaking respect you. Like I've seen in the workplace where if if there's a guy who, very masculine and not by masculine, I mean in attitude. It's not, that they have to be 6 foot, whatever. Exactly. That they're confident, they're, confident in who they are. I know this one soft developer I worked with, he was like maybe 5'2", and he was very confident in who he is. And women would talk to him, and that dude got the most hate from the male feminist software developers talking trash. Why? Because first of all, they didn't have the spine to go up and do that, and they weren't confident in who they were, as a man. Just figure, if I parrot these talking points and, bow down and grovel, maybe she might go out with me. It's like, no.
Then you're making yourself the best friend and you're ruining any chances because you're taking your balls, you're putting them in her purse, and you're always shaking your head and agreeing. You are showing no individuality of yourself.
And on a very biological level, the sexes exist for a reason. And one of the reasons that the masculine exists, that the male exists, is for the race, is to provide physical protection and to defeat predators, right? And so a weak man does not activate any sense in a woman that this is a guy that if I'm in danger or my child is in danger can protect me, right? From a force that might be physically bigger than me or might be threatening me. And so these men are taking away the very thing that I believe the vast majority of women biologically are drawn to. And this is a part of my belief that this is all part of a cultural game to weaken people. And, weak men are not a threat to the government. They're not a threat to the system. They're not going to Genghis Khan was one dude. He overthrew, multiple kingdoms and created an empire. One dude, right? And so they don't want any Genghis Khans out there. They want nice, weak, Anita Sarkeesian.
They want Kibblesmiths.
But males.
Yeah, they literally want Kibblesmiths, but Kibblesmith is like the extreme because all he's doing is, woman's skin close, run away, wiffle bat ready.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
It's like women, I don't want them to touch it, but it's just like, again, with the whole thing with Boobygate, it's just like, why are you so threatened by a pair of women's boobs? Really? It makes no sense. It's ludicrous.
It does kind of make sense because they've reached the point where they've trained themselves to believe that if they're always kissing ass and always agreeing and always being the timid type, that when it comes to the woman actually being aggressive, they don't know how to push back or actually involve themselves in that. And so it's like having intimate relationships with a board of wood that is leaking soy. That's the way I look at it. There's no emotional attachment. They have now become the bottom, as you want to say, but they don't even know how to reciprocate what a bottom would do. That was a bad terminology.
But we're actually talking about the issue that comes down to what Ms. Sarkeesian has guided us to, which is the issue of the masculine and the feminine. And even in gay relationships, like I said, there's a masculine, there's a feminine. You need to have both of those polarizations on a Taoist level. It's the yin and the yang of the universe, right? The universe is based on this. So once you polarize the opposite way, most women, I would suggest, despite the cultural effort to convince them, don't actually want to be masculine. They don't want that energy. They're not comfortable with it. And so suddenly when the male becomes feminine, then the polarization is flipped upside down. So the woman has to become masculine in order to interact. And if she doesn't want that role, it's going to destroy the relationship.
Yeah.
I would have to totally agree with you.
So you know what though?
I can't be in
is good.
Relationship. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And if anything, especially alpha women, it's like if you can't be the alpha male, we get really aggressive and really aggravated.
It's
because it's like you're
that's
supposed
to. I mean, you are a very strong, powerful woman, Lorena. I don't know your personal life, but I'm sure that you are drawn to men that might actually even challenge you, that might be more powerful than you, because there's not a lot. Most guys would be, a little bit like, wow, Lorena is a little bit out of my league, right? And so most women want a guy that can still challenge them. And I will let you respond and say if that's fair for you.
That is very true. That is very true. Case in point, I remember my first real engineering, engineering job. And it's like, and after you go through that and you work with a lot of guys, you have, at least most of us, a very, very strong persona. You're not intimidated to look someone in the eye. You're not intimidated to shake their hand. You're not intimidated to, say your opinion. And my first job, it seemed like people were scared to talk to me. Like no one wanted to talk to me. And I'm like, what am I, ugly? I know I put deodorant on. I know I don't smell. I know I brush my teeth and all that. And this one guy, he was like 6'3". He was black guy, 6'3". And he comes over to talk to me one day and he's like, well, you know, you're attractive, right? I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't want to throw it around. He's like, these dudes will not talk to you because they are scared to death of you. And I'm like, what's to be scared of with me? I'm nice.
No, but it's not that, Lorraine. I can kind of vouch because it's just like when an attractive woman sometimes come in the room, depending on the type of people in the room, it's not that they're scared. It's just they don't know how to approach you because probably they come from a school life or some kind of area where the attractive women have always been, no offense, complete bitches. So they're always afraid to actually approach those types, even let's say when you're adults, because they don't know if they're going to get the same reaction they did in the past, or they don't actually just know how to talk to the female in general. So it's not that you're scary. It's just they've already built up the image of what scares them, and they're projecting it on the opposite sex.
Yeah, and I agree, and I've seen that. So like with some people who they're kind of like nervous, it's like, okay, you come up and talk. Guess what? I'll do some self-depreciating humor to kind of, you know, even things out. But even when, again, at my workplace with like a lot of my friends, and we're alpha women and we like alpha men, we would literally leave engineering where we were, walk down to the shop floor and talk to the guys down at the shop because they were just like, hey, how you doing? You look so beautiful today. Oh, it was so wonderful seeing you. You just made my day showing up. We're just like, we don't get this over, you know, over in engineering. And so to us, they were strong men. They were working with their hands. They were proud of what it is that they did. They could be, you know, from 5 foot to like 7 feet. But that's the kind of masculinity that we were attracted to. And unfortunately, that's the kind of masculinity that's been so demonized in this country.
Because now it's misogyny.
Let me share with you my own personal experience. You know, you talked about that very masculine but physically small guy that was in your office, right? You know, I'm 5'3". I'm a short dude. I mean, Prince was 5'3" and Kamran Pasha is 5'3". So I'm a short dude, right? And all my life, people have underestimated me because of how I appear, right? And this has been true in Hollywood as well. Is that because there's a cultural level at it as well? Because the cultural stereotype we have of people from the Indian subcontinent, I'm from Pakistan. The cultural stereotype we have of them is that they are Apu from The Simpsons. They're Gandhi, very peaceful, sort of gentle meditation dudes, you know. And I think you've gotten to know me. Both of you have gotten to know me. I'm a little bit of an aggressive alpha dude, right?
Can I just say that when I was growing up, we had families from like India and Pakistan that I like grew up with. So that's why I'm kind of like, what do you mean? I mean, Apu was funny, but there's not the ones that I grew up with. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But there's a cultural stereotype.
Absolutely.
Of the sort of Gandhi, quiet, non-violent, and as a result, as a weaker man. And so, whereas my Arab friends, for example, their cultural stereotype is, oh, these guys might blow themselves up in front of you. They're a little dangerous, right? So they're more of a masculine cultural stereotype, right? And so I've worked on TV shows where I've had people, you know, particularly sort of the young feminist assistant types who are trying to find somebody to pick on, right? And they decide, even though I'm like a producer on the show, they decide I become the target because they project that I will be someone that's going to take the abuse, right? And I don't. And they get very, very, very startled because very quickly I assert myself in a situation where I'm being disrespected, and people don't expect that of me, and that actually scares them a little bit because they have projected false understandings of who I am based on my physical appearance and my and then they get scared real fast when they discover that no, I'm actually not the guy to mess with. And you know, I've survived almost 20 years in Hollywood by being aggressive and by being someone that is unafraid. I'm in a system that doesn't want me there, that doesn't like my culture or my religion, and I've succeeded in it by being utterly, you know, courageous. You can't be a beta and survive what I've gone through, yet people project that on me. So it's an interesting thing.
I think you're very masculine.
I will take it, sir. I will take it. But I want to hear from Lorena. I don't care what you think.
I didn't know. I think you were very masculine, Cameron. That's one of the reasons why I was so drawn to you, because it's just like I'm stalwart in my convictions. This is me. This is who I am. You don't like it. Call somebody who cares.
And you know who's in our chat? The most masculine of all, Abu Nas, the alpha male.
Right. I'm so glad he dropped by.
I used to be sexy. Look at that picture. I used to rock the Sailor Scout.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I saw a couple of you guys kind of sneak in, especially let's see. I think I just saw Joyce.
Abu.
And I see Latino Slant and Abu, and I think some other folks sneaked in. If I didn't acknowledge you directly, I probably highlighted your chat. So
before we go into that article and one thing, like, you know how you're sharing my screen earlier, I just want to add something to that, because this is like after day 3 now since The Mandalorian, or day 4, I don't know how long it is. It literally proves that she's made it not about the fact that it's about femininity in the armor. It's about her trying to attach herself to the Mandalorian by saying this, and this, acting like a child, and now she's crying wolf like before. Because this is all it's coming down to. It was never about the armor. It was about I'm Anita, and I need to feel relevant now. Someone pity me.
But also, I'm dealing with a never-ending Twitter harassment campaign. No, it's not harassment. It's calling you out on your crap. And the funny thing is, this isn't the first time she's done this.
No, she did the first episode. Right?
Yeah. Not the first time she's done it.
Nope.
Well, what's amazing to me is The Mandalorian is where she's choosing to fight this battle, where you have Gina Carano, who's the most courageous person in Hollywood right now. She is the most courageous person in Hollywood because she will not back down. We've got a lot of people that are sort of we got Abunas there. We have a lot of people that are on sort of the right end of the political spectrum that are largely Hollywood is finished with. Great actors like James Woods and whatever. Hollywood's done with them, right? And Scott Baio, who everyone mocks, but he still dated Pamela Anderson, all the girls you wanted to date, right? So all those people, right? Christy Swanson, who I think is delightful. At the same time, they don't have massive careers right now. Gina Carano has a massive career, and she's putting herself out there at the height of this polarized environment, right? And for this Sarkeesian person to try to take on the Mandalorian, where you've got a real alpha female who I don't think Anita Sarkeesian would be able to stand in a room with Gina Carano for 5 minutes. She'd leave out of fear.
No, because not only is Gina done, she's done professional fighting in the UFC or MMA or at UFC. She doesn't take crap. Even I'll give it even to this. The woman who plays the engineer that was holding Baby Yoda, trying to steal Baby Yoda. You know what I mean? Like, is a joke?
Richard Simmons. No, I'm
sorry. Yeah, the Richard Simmons haircut. Ryan Canal. She has more femininity and strength than Anlena Sarkeesian, and she does it through comedy. So you don't even need to be strong physically to be a strong woman, as long as you're yourself and you stand your ground. Anita doesn't learn this because she just wants to victimize everyone on an assumption.
Yeah, that's right. She doesn't care anymore. She's straight up trolling now.
Oh,
and that's how it is when you don't care, especially with these SJW types. When you don't freaking care what they call you and it doesn't get to you, it drives them nuts.
Yeah. They were crazy. There was someone even trying to explain what racism was, and they were explaining stereotypes to me, and I was like, "You're an idiot."
Oh yeah, Richard Simmons. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. That just stuck. I don't know why, but ever since she showed up in The Mandalorian, people they forget that the actress's name is Amy Sedaris, and I forget what she was in, but everyone says Richard Simmons. So Amy Sedaris, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. We just made that association. Oh, well, 44 of you guys watching. Thank you so much, folks who dropped in. Yeah, it's really been growing. Lots of people, dropping in, finding out about the lunch table, and people just talking it up. This format's just been a lot of fun, where we can get, one guest, like you, Cameron, and just have you on where you can just kind of.
Even Richard Simmons came in, so we're all good. We got.
So we're all good.
How you doing, Richard? You all right?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, Kamran, you're just, you're a fan favorite. So
Well,
We
Yeah.
definitely
at
love
this
bringing
point,
it back.
the only fans I got left are the ones in the chat, because because I'm like the male Gina Carano in the industry. I'm out there very publicly, very publicly stating my political, religious, social beliefs, which do not correspond to the official narrative of the industry I work in. I've had to overcome obstacles. And thankfully, I've reached a stage in my journey where, like, if you don't want to hire me, all right, I'm at a stage where I'm creating my own stuff within the system, right? I'm not just having to go off and create a little short film on YouTube. I'm actually still within the system. And so that's hopefully I will survive the next year as the world turns upside down in this country, right? But I at this point, everyone knows what I'm about, and I'm just going to keep putting it out there, even if my colleagues in Hollywood are scared of it.
Well, I would say screw those colleagues, not to sound rude, but Cameron, you keep being yourself, keep standing your ground, because you are going to be one of the ones that still survive. And it's more than just the chat that likes and respects you. You have a lot of people who know who you are, probably won't voice up because they're afraid of something getting canceled on themselves, but you have a lot of people in your corner. And a lot of people in the chat can agree. I'm in behind you 100%, not like the soap drop way, but I am behind you. I bet Lorraine's behind you too, because I want her to lose structure and it works. You are a good man, Cameron, and that's
Cameron is one of those guys where it's just like, you know what, keep doing what you're doing, because it's such an inspiration to so many people. And I know it makes me feel better that there's someone like you, in Hollywood that isn't, well, you're in the bubble, but you're not sucking up the air in the bubble. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to be rational, because we're all saying crazy things now that none of us believe, because people in Hollywood are actually not that woke. They really aren't. They're just playing a role. They're playing because they're trying to keep their jobs in a system that they're seeing is suddenly being inundated with this kind of talk, right? And so everyone is saying that. And so I privately get emails from fellow writers, fellow producers who will privately tell me their philosophical beliefs, their political beliefs. Some of them might actually be Trump supporters, right? But they will never say that publicly. And they reach out to me saying, at least I can talk to you about this, man.
That's a great thing.
Wait a minute. You're not woke? Wait, what?
I know.
the fact that they're approaching you, Cameron, should also say something, that they are also so fear-stricken with being canceled that these wokes need to stop now before the whole individuality of writing stories, quality of shows is gone because someone is throwing a tantrum. So I say stick what you're doing, and you'll probably get more people over the years, because everyone's tired of the way that things are going, especially the fans. The fans are sick of it.
Yeah, Cameron, Latino Slant. Hey, my brother says Cameron 72. He is absolutely right, guys. It would end careers. Yes, and for those who don't know, Latino Slant is out in Hollywood, and Mrs. Slant is an actress in the industry. So definitely good point.
Latino Slant, and we've actually talked a little bit on the chat, but I don't think we've interacted much in the past. But follow me on Twitter, drop me a DM. If there's any ways I can help your wife with casting, just drop me a DM and we'll connect.
Yeah, Paulie, you need to get Kamran on your show. I'm saying he needs to be on the slant. He needs to be on the slant. Well, folks, that is going to wrap it up. The hour goes way too fast. Time flies when you're having fun. But thank you all for joining us. Please do follow Kamran Pasha over on Twitter. We should have his link to his Twitter, and also the link to his website should also be in the description as well. So definitely do check him out. Support these independent voices in Hollywood. We really, really need them right now. And again, thank you everyone for supporting the lunch table. I appreciate all the support. And for some people who wanted to know about monetization hours updates, I literally have less than 100 watch hours left.
Wow, I pimped that stuff out
to get monetized. So thank you guys so much.
And for those that were asking about my weight, it has not gone down. It has not reduced. It has only gotten up. So I'm very close to glutenization. So let's keep going.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, wherever you are. And if you're watching the repeat, thank you so much for watching the repeat. Bye.